Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and here's a headline from crypto media outlet You Today. Ripple CEO claims Ether surpassed XRP because of SEC. Look, I'll say this. I want to make sure I say this at the intro. It's not solely because of the SEC that Ethereum has surpassed XRP in terms of market cap. But oh yes, absolutely, it's a factor, and Brad Garlinghouse is correct on this point. And so these comments come from a brand new interview. And so what I've done is I transcribed a couple parts that I found particularly interesting, and I took some notes. And I want to share some of these thoughts with you, but it's rather fascinating. It has to do with not just the idea of Ethereum overtaking XRP in terms of market cap, and of course that means the SEC, the federal government, selecting winners and losers in what's supposed to be a free and open market, but also how the litigation against Ripple has impacted their entire business model. But despite that, though, there's a kind of some positive news as well. XRP and on-demand liquidity adoption increasing despite all this. So I'll share with you all the specifics. But before going any further, I do want to be clear at the outset here that I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby, just for fun. So into this piece we go. During his appearance at the DC FinTech Week virtual conference, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse opined that the regulatory clarity that Ether, the second biggest crypto, has received from the United States Securities and Exchange Commission allowed it to surpass XRP. And so here's a quote. Within the last few years, XRP was the second most valuable digital asset as it became given that the SEC had given it a hall pass to Ethereum. Ethereum has obviously kind of exploded. That clarity has helped. And so look, for those of you that were around back in 2017, you lived through it firsthand. You saw XRP and Ethereum jockeying for that number 2 spot back and forth and back and forth. And that was before Ethereum got this free hall pass. But after that happened, we know that Ethereum's price spiked when there was the Bill Hinman Ethereum free pass speech which occurred on June 4th, 2018, about half a year after the blow off top for the previous market cycle. Yeah, Ethereum did start to run a bit, and obviously it was viewed differently than other cryptocurrencies. It was another golden child, next to Bitcoin. And so that little duo, the Bitcoin Ethereum duo, perfectly safe from a legal perspective. Adopt it any way you want. You can invest if you want. If you're a financial advisor, you're a hedge fund, you can get your customers involved with it. Not a problem whatsoever. That's what was taken right there. And so outside of that, you did see a world where Ethereum, even if it was, and it is the case, Ethereum was number 2 more frequently than XRP, was fine, but that should have been up to the open market here. And that's a fair competition right there, fighting for that number 2 spot in terms of market cap. But after all this, no, XRP, it's fallen behind. I couldn't even tell you the last time that XRP was number 2 in market cap. And so it's not just because the SEC has come after Ripple, claiming that they sold XRP as an unregistered security. Now, that's had a detrimental effect, obviously, and I think we'd all agree that XRP is currently at a suppressed, artificially low price as a result of that. But even before they went after Ripple, the fact of the matter is that they gave clarity to ETH, so it was already being adopted at a greater rate in terms of an investment, because especially from an institutional, publicly traded company perspective, if you're on that level, doesn't it seem obvious that's where the money should go if you want to delve into the crypto asset class? And so it's unfair either way here. And then the piece continues. Garlinghouse adds that market forces are supposed to determine winners and losers instead of regulators. In December 2017, XRP became the second largest crypto, but it has since slipped to 7th place. Yeah, and I didn't check right before recording this, but it's mostly been in 6th place for like the last few months or so. It's gone up, it's gone down a little bit. And it is funny that you've got 2 stable coins in the top 10 in terms of crypto asset class at this point, which is kind of absurd to me, but there, it is what it is. And then there was this also. Here we go. This is part of what I transcribed from this thing. So this is Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO here. You had Jay Clayton on stage at DC FinTech Week in person one of the last events, and I was on about an hour later. So I was in the room, and someone asked Jay Clayton, "Hey, what's the status of XRP? Is it a security?" Let me just pause right here. So to be clear, I didn't check the date before recording this, but it doesn't matter. It was probably in 2018. That would be my guess. It was well before this the SEC litigation against Ripple here. So anyway, Jay Clayton was asked, "Hey, what's the status of XRP? Is it a security?" And then Brad Garlinghouse continues. He says the following, "And he didn't answer the question. More recently, Gary Gensler won't answer the question, is Ethereum a security? And look, if these laws are so clear, then let's just say the answers to those questions. If they're not clear, let's say they're not clear, and let's make them more clear." Now, this is obvious, right? Anybody listening to this, anybody with half a brain, if you're unbiased, you got half a brain, then the answer is yes, of course, you should be able to say this. Like when you're at a point where Gary Gensler refuses to state whether Bitcoin is or is not a security, you got a serious damn problem right about now. You got a serious problem. "Oh, I'm not going to speak on the specifics of any cryptocurrency." Oh, Gary Gensler. Well, if it's so clear, crystal clear, in fact, as you claim, Gary Gensler, then why is it so difficult to just provide a simple yes or no answer? If I ask you if Apple stock is a security, are you going to say, "Well, I'm not going to talk about the specifics of any individual share of any company"? Nah, not. No, you're going to answer. It's obvious, because Apple stock, of course, it is a security. Now, it's registered, but still. It's very obvious if something is or is not a security. That's what they say. In which case, answer the damn question, which is why I don't buy their argument, and I bet you don't either. The reason it's not clear is because the SEC won't provide guidance. They simply won't. Not in a direct way. The way they've done it is by having individuals at the SEC in high places provide what is supposed to be just their personal opinion, but their intent is for you to look at those personal opinions as the guidance from the SEC, and that way they're not technically on the record being stuck to a position that they may want some flexibility with. That's the real reason this is happening. Here's another quote from Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. "What is the end game the SEC has in mind?" And so I go to kind of first principles. The SEC's mission statement, and this is on their website, the mission statement, first sentence, is about protecting consumers. Okay, now in the case of the Ripple lawsuit, you have nearly, I'm told, 50,000 US people who hold XRP who are trying to sue the SEC for protecting them. And that's in quote, he did air quotes there. They're trying to sue, XRP holders trying to sue the SEC for protecting them. Let's go to first principles. If the mission is to protect consumers and about ensuring orderly markets, how are we ensuring orderly markets? And that's the quote from Brad Garlinghouse. And it is absurd. That's why, it's truly impressive what's been happening here. And this is so unprecedented, as the judge in the Ripple case cited. There is no case precedent for this. So in deciding how to go forward and deciding to what degree John Deaton and XRP holders would be allowed to participate in any capacity within the case, which has been granted, in going through that, she cited there is nothing to draw upon. There's no legal precedent for this, because think about it. Think about this. When the SEC goes after somebody, for something like this, I mean, a lot of the time historically, there's been some sort of fraud or this or that. It's been a clear open and shut case. But for something like this, XRP, which is a decentralized cryptocurrency with which there is no common enterprise, that's why you're getting the pushback here. And it's tremendous pushback from the XRP community. There is no common enterprise, and the SEC is lying, saying that there is, and they know there isn't. It's just a power and money grab. That's what it is. There is no common enterprise here. But with something like a stock, if there's an unregistered security in that regard, it's pretty damn clear. And you're not going to have a crew of 50,000 holders of that stock being like, no. Like, of course not. That's why there's no precedent here. This isn't exactly surprising. It is impressive, though. That's for damn sure. And then Brad Garlinghouse, he went on to note that Ripple's actually grown 33% in Q3 over Q2 of this year. And worth noting, that's with 0 new United States customers. No new customers in the United States. And in fact, Ripple has actually lost some US-based customers due to the SEC litigation. And this is the first time he's publicly stated that I'm aware of anyway. I haven't heard him say that anywhere else. So US-based customer count actually down for the first calendar year ever in the history of the company. That's crazy. Now, Brad also stated that the vast majority of their hiring is occurring outside of the United States. So this obviously is having an economic dampening impact. And given the current state of things, economy not exactly so hot right now, lots of inflation, all this stuff, can we really afford to push more jobs outside of the United States? Now, I know to the listeners here that aren't in the United States are like, yeah, well, whatever. And I get that. Then I understand that. But a lot of us are here in the United States, like I am, and I don't like that. I live here. I don't like that at all. But that's this is the effect that it's having. You're not seeing people getting hired in the United States. Now, as far as on-demand liquidity, which is part of RippleNet and requires the usage of XRP as a bridge currency, that's actually experienced explosive growth. Check this out. On-demand liquidity grew 130% in third quarter this year compared to second quarter this year. And that growth is all coming from outside of the United States. So it's not all bad stuff here, but it's in spite of all of this that things are good. How much better would things be if that were not the case? How much better would the lives of XRP holders be on top of that? Because XRP holders unquestionably financially harmed due to the actions of the SEC, not because of Ripple. It's due to the actions of the SEC, and that's why we've got a problem. The good news is the judge has absolutely noticed this. Okay, it's impossible to notice when there are 50,000 people from the community screaming, hey, the SEC, they're not looking out for our best interests. It's pretty obvious that's the case. And so we'll see, ultimately, if there is some sort of negative impact for Ripple as a company, and it comes to pass that Ripple has to pay a fine or this or that, or even if they lose the case, as long as XRP is not deemed a security, the community won't care. So I don't know directionally for sure which way this is going to go. I'm just at a minimum cautiously optimistic. Because look, what we've seen in this pretrial circumstance that we're in is just overwhelming evidence that the SEC is in the wrong. And even just if you have, again, like I said, half a brain, like just any analytical skills whatsoever, you can see just how terrible and piss poor the SEC's arguments actually are. And so the idea of this standing in court, I have a hard time thinking that the judge would let this pass and let these tens of thousands of XRP holders actually be damaged, which is why we need this clarity for XRP so that XRP holders can go about their way. And part of that means we need this clarity because without that, if we don't get that as a result of this court case, you're not going to see the relisting of XRP in the United States. And I think the judge recognizes that. One would imagine that the judge would have a heart. I would certainly hope so. We're all human. Even judges are human. And I'm telling you, people are financially harmed without that. And that's got to be a factor. It absolutely has to be a factor. And the facts and circumstances are such that the XRP community, the position that we have on the whole, it's the right one. And I think that history will prove that we're on the right side of things. So we'll see where else it goes. But Brad Garlinghouse, I listened to this interview. It was about a little over half hour long earlier today, and hitting the nail on the head. So, and it is good to hear that their company, despite this all, is on the whole doing well. I'll go ahead and wrap up there, though. I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.